Boku no Hero Academia chapter 109. Okay, this chapter was very simple, but man, that shit was funny in the first half of the chapter. Fuck. So, everyone's just bystander. They're all waiting for the next part of the exam, right? And Seto comes up to Mineta and like the other guy. He's telling him, hey, guess what? He's like, what? And he tells him, you see that girl over there? And Mineta, being the perv that he is, he's like, oh, is that a like interesting topic? I'll have you know, I've been looking at her the whole time. And then Seto says, oh, she was naked with Midoriya behind a rock, and they go apeshit. Mineta is like mad jealous, man. He's like, what the fuck? What were you doing back there when we were struggling with the exam? Right in the middle of the exam, you're like messing with some chick, and they like think Midoriya is like some kind of like fucking player, some kind of smooth talker. And they was like, get the fuck off me, guys. I'm like, oh, I was just laughing, man. The comedy was excellent this chapter with Midoriya, Mineta. The faces Mineta makes are fucking hilarious, man. I couldn't get over that, man. And then they point out the girl, and the girl like waves at Midoriya, and she's like, looks so like, man, what's her name? I want her name, man. I like her a lot. And then he's like, isn't that like a wave of someone who's close with someone in a relationship? And like Deku's trying to explain to them like, oh no, that's not what you think. It has something to do with her quirk. She's a scary person, and she's kind of a little scary, sexy and scary. But like, what's her deal? What is Shiketsu's goal? Not only that in this chapter, but another weirdo from Shiketsu was like covered in hair, man. Like comes up to Bakugo and like apologizes for his other teammate who was kind of being a dick to him in the exam. And he tells him, we're trying to make a good relationship with UA. And then Todoroki doesn't really buy it because he comes up to the guy with the crew cut. I'm blank on names right now. It's like too early in the morning. Whatever. And he asks him, hey, did I do something to you? And he basically tells him, oh, I hate you and your father. You have the same eyes as your dad does. And we don't even know what's the backstory here, why he hates his father. All he does is just one simple line, and that's it. I'm pretty sure maybe after the exam or later on in the exam, we're going to know why he has beef with Todoroki and his old man. Now, I can understand his old man. His old man looks like a douchebag. And I wouldn't be surprised if his old man, if Todoroki's father, ended up screwing up this guy's father in some shape or form. Because we all know that Todoroki's got a douchebag for a dad, man. It kind of reminds me of like Fire Lord Ozai, and like Todoroki reminds me of Zuko. But I'm always making a comparison between him and Zuko. But anyway, with this chapter, it's a pretty simple chapter. And I really like it. It's also very realistic. Because the way that the exam goes, they start the exam, and what they have is a bunch of professional victims, professional civilians who know the situation and know how to act accordingly when it comes to being hurt or in pain. So they go and they go to all these villains, and they run into a child, and then Midoriya, he acts like, oh, what happened? He's like, my grandpa, he's all crushed, and he's like, oh, that's terrible. Where is he? And then he tells them, oh, you lost points right there. And I'm like, what the heck? Because I'm thinking, oh, this is simple, you just have to get people out of, like, bad ruts. But then he tells him, you're not checking for my breathing, you're not checking for my pulse, you're not even checking if I have a concussion or if I'm bleeding. You haven't even taken me to, like, the medical hospital. You're just saying how terrible things are. And I'm like, whoa, shit, we're getting, like, legit down to rescue. Like, not only is this, like, hero rescue, but the medics and the fire department haven't arrived yet in the situation. So they have to take the role of medic. And I'm like, whoa, that threw me off for a second. I'm like, they legit have to act like nurses or medics, and they have to act like fire department. They have to take the role of the commoner, the people, the policemen, the fire department, the medics, the jobs that aren't supposedly like for fame and are meant to save people without so many people looking at them. It's like the heroes without the fame aspect of it. And I really like that about that. They're taking a different role here of not just being the hero who always goes out for fame and always like the good shots of defeating the villain. They're taking the not so popular route of being a hero. And I'm like, I love that. I'm like, man, that threw me off for a second. And then Midoriya's like, oh, I have to switch gears here. This has to do with my dream. I can't be distracted right now. And then he switches gears. He's asking, oh, everything's in the middle, right? I'm going to take you to the hospital. Where's she ever going to go? It's all right. I'm here. And then the kid's like, he goes back into it. He goes back into his role of being a child. And then Midoriya's carrying him. He keeps telling him, it's okay. I'm right here. And he's like, is that all you can say? You suck. And I'm like, oh, man, the fucking comedy. But I just love the switch from hero to medic. and it's like a humble switch. It's very humbling for these heroes who are able to make that switch, and the ones who can make the switch are the ones that are going to pass. The ones who can't make the switch are probably going to fail. Now, this chapter also dives into some of Uraraka's character, how she looks at Midoriya, and she was kind of a bit jealous of that other girl, and she was going to ask him something, and she's letting her feelings distract her. And she asks herself, what is she doing? She can't let these feelings distract her from her goal. And she's saying, I have to shut them down. And I'm like, oh no, what? You don't have to shut them down. And I think Uraraka is going to have to learn as she gets older. Because remember, these guys are still like high schoolers, middle schoolers. They're still young. And she has to learn that she has to balance this out. Balance out her feelings, balance out her goals. She doesn't have to shut down her feelings. There's no way you're ever going to be able to shut down human emotion, human affection. That's just, you're asking for the impossible here. She has to balance it out between her goals and Deku. And is it even a bad thing if she ever does like have feelings, or if she ever does find out Deku might have feelings with her, or that they might get together? It's not, romance isn't a bad thing in manga. But I'm glad that they address the situation instead of always just ignoring her feelings towards Deku, like other shows where it's just like thrown in there at the last minute and then they get together. I always hate that. But they address the situation because these are still kids, and kids are still going to have feelings for each other. And I really like that about this chapter. But she needs to learn how to balance it out, because if she is able to balance it out and then later on she maybe get a relationship with Deku, Deku can be there to help her reach her goal, and she can be there to help him reach his goal. Do it together. Do it as two people, you know, as a couple. You don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to shut down your feelings, because you're just asking for the impossible there. That's basically it for the chapter. I thought it was a really interesting chapter. I liked the humble switch from hero to medic. The comedy was good. Mineta, the facial expressions, everything. Good 4 out of 5 chapter. Hope you guys like the review. Fantard out.